Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can 10x the outputs of your AI system and create systems that are tailored to specific use cases you might have, such as building hooks, building emails, building YouTube scripts, building sales pages, whatever it is. And I've made a video previously on how you can build a system like this, but in this video, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. So let's begin. You have to understand that when it comes to an AI system, what does AI stand for? So it's artificial intelligence. A lot of people mistake AI for automations. So they talk about AI automations agency, but AI is intelligence. And this is what an intelligence system looks like. So it divides itself by three parts. You have the instructions, the prompts, and then the databases, which is the examples that you are going to give it. I'm going to clear it so this doesn't get a little bit messy, and we're going to reduce the thickness. Let's go step by step on each one. The instructions, this is where you are giving the roles to the AI. So in this case, we want it to be a copywriter. But we aren't just going to say, okay, you are a copywriter. No, you are the world best copywriter. Because something you will notice if you play a lot with AI is that an AI has ego. So if you elevate that ego, the outputs will be more elevated. And this is simply, can go in depth into this. Let's do it here. This is simply where you are giving it the structures and teaching it what you want it to do. Because as you will see, you have two parts of a system. Let's say you want to write emails. You need to write it emails. You have the top part where you teach it how to write emails. Then you have the bottom part, that these are called data loaders, where you give it examples of how to write. The same way, if you were to go to an employee of yours and be like, okay, we need to write an email for this new client that we onboarded, you wouldn't just say that. You would give it, okay, this is how we previously written emails. So they are short, they go straight to the point, they ask if the client wants to book a meeting, and then these are the examples. So data. This is the examples that we have used in the past that worked well. Now, based on what I taught you how to write, based on the examples that you have, and based on the input, so the client requirements, your job is to combine all of this into an output. This is very different than if you just gave it an input and expected an output. What happens with humans and with AI is that people only give the input and don't give this part. And what happens is that there are a lot of back and forth until you get a correct output. The strength about these AI intelligence systems is, before I used to do it on a normal Claude chat, but every new chat that I had to program it. So write in this format, use these types of fascinations, write the lead in this format, your tone should be like this. The good thing about these intelligence systems, and you can build these ones on Stack AI, is that you build them once and the output will be as you want forever. So your clients can come here. This is the interface in which you can export, as I showed you in the previous video. Let me switch to blue. They only have to fill this, so this is client filling, and they get the outputs as they want. Why? Because here in instructions we've taught it how to write, and in database we've given it examples of how to write. So instead of you having to do this every time you want to write a new email, for example, for a client, what we do for our clients is we build them these systems based on their data. So we pretty much replicate their brain into an AI system divided into instructions, prompts, and data, so that they, every time, for example, they onboard a new client, they come here, they fill 1, 2, 3, in this case it's 5 inputs, and they get an output like this in the matter of 37 seconds. And then, as you can see, oh Andre, but I wouldn't give this to my clients, okay, because this isn't properly formatted, but this is how it looks. when you format them correctly. And if you know anything about cold email, you know that this is the winning format, which is first line, case study, CTA, again here. Now, this isn't ridiculous quality compared to what is in the market. It's very good compared to what is in the market, but this takes 37 seconds for my client to run. Why? Because I took 5 hours to build this system for him, which he can leverage infinitely. Another thing that you need to be aware of, and let me go to a new stack system so I don't ruin this one, is a different sort of LLMs that you have and its use case. And don't worry, I'm gonna make a more in-depth video, it's gonna be the next one, regarding LLMs only. Can do this once for now. You have different types of LLMs, and inside LLMs, so large language models, for example OpenAI and Anthropic, which are the two most known, have different types of models. So for example, depending on the task, you will choose different LLMs. If the task is summarize me this text or transcribe me this text, you will want to go with something like GPT 3.5 Turbo. Why? It's the fastest one. If it's okay, I want to understand more in depth about a certain topic, you'd go with GPT-4 32K. It takes a little bit longer, but it's way more intelligent because it was trained on more data than GPT 3.5. But if you want copy work, you would go with Claude. In this case, Claude 3, which is the new model that just came out, that is very, very, very powerful for this. It's important to understand that for different use cases, you will have different LLMs and different models. And you can have systems which, for example, run like this. So, for example, first input, let's say it's transcribing a video. It would come here and you would have an output for the transcription. But then you want this system, based on this system, to, for example, okay, write me 3 hooks that I can use. This would be Claude 3, because it's the best at copywriting. You do this. Notice how all of them are connecting. Why? So the memory from here can pass to here. You can get a bit more fancy, let's say, with it and do basically shared memory, which you come here and you share the memory between them. But this loads the build, makes it run a bit slowly, and like this it works. And then you'd come here, you'd put this is your memory. Then imagine you want to use Gemini Pro to, okay, now format this in the best way possible. As you can see, you can use different LLMs with different outputs for different measures. And you have all of these ones that you won't need, at least I don't need them in a day-to-day. The one that I use most are these two. But these are different LLMs, and different LLMs will give you different results. I did a video on this in the past, let me see if I can find it real quick, which is how do you test which one you need to use, which is this. Have a couple of testings that you will do. You'll test different inputs, different models, different LLMs, different docs. So for example, here have document plus search versus document. These are two different loaders. Let's say different instructions and different structures. But how do you know which one is correct? Two ways. Either you go by pattern recognition, so beforehand you already know which model works best for which use case, which is the level that I'm on right now. Or you can do this, which this is a normal equation, normal chemistry equation, let's say. So you're testing variables in order to achieve desired outcome. So for example, let's take this into my row so I can explain to you a little bit better. You first have to understand the variables that you have. Let's say chemistry equation goes a bit like this, where this is the desired outcome. And here you have all the variables that you're going to be testing. So you have prompts, database, I'm going to commit an error, but I'm going to put it down here, instructions, and models. So the sum of all of this will give you the desired outcome. If you're not happy with the desired outcome, you're going to have to change one of these variables. And how do you do this? How do you discover which one it is? You put a fixed variable and you change one at a time. So for example, if you want to test for which types of database works best, what you will do is you will do the same prompts here, same prompt, the same instruction, the same model and the same LLM, but with different documents. So for example, you would copy this and you would put it against one literally the same, but instead of documents plus search. In this you'll be testing for which one of these is. If you want to test for the model, what you'll do is with the same instructions, the same prompts, the same data, you can test without data. You will test Claude 3 versus Claude 2. So let's say you have, let me show you one stack. You test it like this. Two inputs, two outputs, and two LLMs. This is variable 1. Okay, I'm not going to connect it all, but you understand. And here you'd put Claude 3 versus Claude 1 with the same instructions, the same prompt, and the same input. And you would see the difference in the outputs. And depending on which one you like best, let's say you like Claude 3 the most, okay, you'd remove this. And now you know, okay, the model is Claude 3. You can do the same to test for large language model. So you test Claude 3 against GPT-4 32K. Because these are the two that match. Claude 3 is the best from Anthropic, GPT-4 is the best from OpenAI. You test, okay, Claude is definitely better for this version. I'd recommend you starting doing this. So for example, first test OpenAI versus GPT with the equivalent modules. Depending on which one it is, let's say it's OpenAI, then you come here, you test Claude 3 versus Claude 2.1. Okay, it's Claude 3. Now, let me test for databases. So knowledge base versus data loader. Okay, it's documents. Nice. So this is the structure. Now you know that this is your winning structure to achieve the desired outcome. Now what do you need to test? You will need to test instructions and prompts. And I made a video on how to do it, but it's basically, this is the part where it's hard work. You'll have to change this until you are happy with this. But it's very important for you to understand that you can only change one at a time, because let's say you change prompt and instructions at the same time and you get a desired outcome. You won't know if it's because the new prompt or the new instructions that the desired outcome worked. Why? Because you tested two things at a time. So this is important, which is you can only test one thing at a time. Just like in a chemistry equation. Let's say here you have H2O, which is water, and this is 2H plus 1O. This is a known equation But how did they get to this? First they tested, let's say 1H, which doesn't take the 1 because it's already 1H. They tested this and they were like, okay, no, this is not water. Maybe they tested, okay, let me try H plus 2O. No, this doesn't work as well. Okay, so now let me test 2H plus 2O. No, it didn't work as well. Okay, now let me test 2H plus O. Okay, this worked. But notice how you always change one variable at a time. You don't go from H plus O to 2H plus 2O. No, because you're skipping this step. You can't skip a step because this might be the equation. You'd never imagine. So this is the equation. Imagine if they skipped from this, so number 1 to number 2, we would never have water. If you want to think about it in that way. Why? Because you skipped a step. You got lazy and you skipped a step. So it's important that you go one step at a time. First thing you'll test is models. The second thing you'll test is database. The third, it doesn't need to be in this order, but this is how I do it. Models, database, prompt, instruction. These are the two most important ones because these will give you the skeleton. Because now I know this is my skeleton. I've tested it. This is the large language model, so Anthropic. My model is Claude 3 and I'm gonna use data loaders, so a document instead of knowledge base. Okay, so now what is everything that I need to test? Instructions and prompts, because I know that the rest of it is always correct. And this is how you're gonna get to this. For example, in this I tested different models, I tested different databases, I tested different inputs, and I tested different prompts. I'm not gonna show you prompts because you don't need to know that. That's a lot of knowledge for you. I'm gonna show you how this looks because you can export it in different ways. This is the way most people do it, which is this is a chatbot, but this is not how you want to do it. How you want to do it is as a form, which is client comes here, writes an input, hits submit, and then an output will generate, like I showed you in this one. Client comes here, fills this, gets this in 30 seconds, and then formats it. So the steps that you need to do is this in order to build one of these systems. Let's do it like this. First you have to define the use case. What is it? Is it emails? Is it hooks? What is it? Then you have to find out the right LLM for it. Then you need to find out the right model. From this, is it data loader or knowledge base? This is first step. What this will allow you to do, let's put a circle, why not, is you'll have the skeleton. The skeleton will be built by this point. So after you do these steps, and then you can move on to this next step, which is working on the actual skeleton. Here it's important for you to collect examples to use as database. So for example, if you are creating a system to generate you ad copy, you would want to get as much data on ads, so actual examples, because this is what you're going to put here, actual examples of ads you did in the past. This is step 1. Step 2 is breaking down how you write ads. And this will go here in the instructions. So in the instructions, it's how you are teaching it. Like I said in the start, it's you teaching the model how to write it. And this is the difference of fine-tuning, because a lot of these agencies, what they do is they fine-tune models, which is what? They take 30 examples, let's say, of successful ads, they give it to an OpenAI to train it, where they have literally no hand on the training, so it's completely random, and then it just generates ads. No teaching how to do it, no nothing. It's just, yo, take these examples, now do me 3 more. That's why they deliver in 2 hours, because it's literally anyone can do it, which is take the examples, go to OpenAI fine-tuning. If you search that on Google, you will find it. Format it as a CSV, give it to the fine-tuning, and you have something. But that isn't worth anything. Why? Because it doesn't know how to write. Yes, it has examples, but a system, an intelligent system, it is way more than just examples. It's examples, but knowing how to do it as well. So this is for the instructions. And this is where most people get lost, and where we help our clients the most. Because most people don't know why they actually write in a certain way. They can't explain to you why their ads work. I mean, yeah, I write it this way, but I don't really know how to do it. That's why they fail. So this is where we spend the most time with our clients, which is I hop on a call with them and I ask them, okay, explain me step by step everything that goes into you writing an ad. For example, if it's an ad that we're building, I record it, I look at everything, I write it down on a piece of paper, I build it onto a Miro, which, let me see if I have anything like here. A Miro like this, for example, you can see here, we were doing these ones, and then we transfer all of this as instructions. And this is what AI automations agencies don't do. They just ask you for examples and they fine-tune the model, which is very easy to do, and it doesn't, I mean, it works, but it doesn't work as well because the system doesn't know how to write. For example, this is another one that we built, and you can see I had to build a system here. This looks like a chemistry equation. I might get a Nobel Award for chemistry, but this is simply input 0 goes to a LLM 0, which goes to a doc, and an output 0. Then this is sent to a LLM 1, which goes to an output 1 and has data 1, like I just showed you. But it's important for you to build it on paper as well. But let me not get out of hand, and let me give you the next steps. The next step you will need to do is figure out the inputs. So what are the inputs, for example, in this case, what are the inputs you need to know in order for you to be able to write an email? For example, if you are writing an email, you need to know who is the email for, what problem do they have, how do you fix that problem, what's the case study that you have, so proof you know how to fix that problem, and the resource for the CTA. Only with this will the AI be able to produce an email like you want it to. Like this, as you can see, who we've helped, the problem, and the ICP, and the CTA. When you start to play with this, you begin to understand that this all works holistically, in the sense that you need to have all of this bottom part, all of this on lock in order to build one of these systems. The examples must be correct. You must know how to write it, and you must know what inputs are necessary for the AI to write it. And now, where do you put these inputs? Good question. In the prompts. So as you can see, we have input 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah. And we teach it to the AI. So the input 0 will be the video title. The input 1 will be the ICP and the goal of the video. The input 2 will be this, the input 3 will be the main payoff of the video, blah 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 blah. So that whenever you come here and you write e-com companies, it doesn't, okay, what is e-com companies? Oh, e-com companies is the ICP. Okay, got it. What is the problem that they have? They rely solely on Facebook ads. Okay, this is the problem that they have. Because it's not because I did it here, because this is formatting. So I can show you. This is formatting. You come here on forms and you format the inputs that you want the user to see. But because you did it here, because it's written here, it doesn't mean that the AI will know. Where you teach it to the AI is here under prompts. Yeah, let me see if I missed anything. I think this is a very good breakdown. Then it's testing. This is the last step. Then it's testing. The prompts you won't change a lot because it's giving, literally explaining the inputs and what you want on the other end. Where you will do most of your changes, depending on the output that you're getting, is here in the instructions. So okay, for example, it's not writing in the tone that I want. You'd come here, okay, this is the tone that I want you to write on. But the main part of the system, the intelligence system, which you will change is the instructions, because you will change the prompts after you nail them. You won't change this, you won't change, you can get more data. This you won't change, and this you won't change. What you'll change is instructions, depending on the body, that the output that you are getting. So yeah, long story short, this is how you can build an actual intelligence system. Actual, it's not a fine-tuning model, it's an actual intelligence system that will get you 10x the outputs for specific use cases. If you are a bit confused by what you just saw here, you can check out my last video, because I explained kind of the entirety of it. This is more of an in-depth video, so if you haven't watched that, you are confused by what you just saw here, go check it out. Leave a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, comment down below, send me gifts, throw money in the sky, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it.